So we have another one. Let's try this. I'm usually trying the red one so that I can actually check my answer. So I can try the black ones, of course. But anyway, that's already a hint that maybe I'll be giving you the black ones for your quizzes. Anyway, so 5.44, you have a pressure which is in Torricelli, 741 Torricelli and 44 degrees Celsius. That is a temperature. 7.10 grams of a gas occupy a volume of 5.40 liters. What is the molar mass of the gas? Oh, so you are asked of the molar mass. What is given is, maybe we can write it down. What is given? You have pressure. No. Maybe. Hindi ko na-prepare. So you have a pressure. So whereabouts? Whereabouts you have a pressure of, how much was that? That was 741 Torricelli. 741 Tor. So it's called Torricelli. Actually, it's also equal to millimeters of mercury. Then you have a temperature of 44 degrees Celsius. A temperature of 44 degrees Celsius. Then you have a mass of 7.10 grams. That is a mass of 7.10 grams. And then finally, I think you have a volume of 5.40 liters. A volume of 5.40 liters. So basically, what I can say with this problem is ideal gas might be the key for this. So maybe I'll have a solution and then analyze from that. If I'll plug in my ideal gas law, that would be, sir, how can we know that it's an ideal gas? You always assume, if there are a lot of given, you always assume it's an ideal gas unless real gases are being stated in the problem. Okay, so that's my answer to you. PV is equal to nRT, of course. And then check, you have pressure, you have volume, then you have a temperature, and then of course your R is a gas constant. That is 8.3014 in joule. But anyway, we'll be using, I think we'll be using the 0.082056 0.082056. The unit of that would be liter ATM per mole Kelvin. So the good thing with videos, if ever I commit mistake, I'll just edit my videos, diba? And on your end, you'll have to skip, and probably if you don't like the video. Anyway, that's the age we are now. So may I solve? I want to have a molar mass. So maybe you can try to relate molar mass and then you have the number of moles, because your molar mass contains the number of moles. So maybe you can split up the number of moles to be the mass over the molar mass. Okay? Mass over molar mass. Sir, how can you say that it is so? Because I'm just actually looking at the units. Your mass is grams and your molar mass is grams per mole. So that is our first topic. You only have to look at the units. That is dimensional analysis. Look at the units and it will tell you what you are trying to look at. So you can cancel the grams, therefore I can find the number of moles. So therefore this number of moles can be changed into mass all over molar mass. And then you have RT. So basically you're trying to look for the molar mass, mm. Maybe I'll have to have a notation of molar mass for the molar mass, mm. So therefore I'm looking for this. Simple algebra will tell us that it would be MRT all over PV. Okay? Algebra, of course, you're already in college and in engineering, so it is expected for you to master the algebra part. Okay? So if ever you have not mastered it, then that's not my problem. This is a chemistry subject. Okay? M would be given, that would be a 7.10 grams, and then your R is 0.082056. Units is liter ATM per mole Kelvin. Again, that's a constant. You should be writing it down because this is an open formula, open constant subject. Okay, so if you don't have any constant, that's your problem, that's not mine. And then temperature, of course, for your gas loss, we should be using the Kelvin. So that must be 44 plus 273, and that will give us Kelvin. Okay, and then your pressure is 741 Torricelli. You have to convert this one. Of course, the conversion factor, you should be also writing it down. You have 760 Torricelli, or millimeters of mercury per 1 atm. So the Torricelli must be under, so that it would be cancel off. Okay, so you have now an atmosphere as a unit of pressure, and then we plug your volume to be 5.40 liters. Okay, and then we can cancel the atm, the liters, and then what else? How about the Kelvin, sir? Here's the Kelvin, you can cancel it out. So what remains is the gram per mole. Okay, so that will give you an assurance that what you're looking for, which is the molar mass, gives us a correct units for that. Okay, so I think this is not hard after all. So you can get your calculator. 7.10 multiplied by 0.082056 multiplied by 44 plus 273, you divide it by 741. How much was that? 741 Torricelli. Oh, you have times 5.40. Actually, that's 760 over there. It could be you can bring it up, of course, because it's the fraction of a fraction. So actually, you can multiply it at the top. Okay, so you can multiply 760 at the top, so as a factor, and then voila, you have already your molar mass to be 35 in how much? In 3 significant figures, usually, because I have here 3 significant figures from the given. You have 44 degrees, maybe into 2 significant figures because of that 44 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that might give us 35 gram per mole. Okay, so that would be the answer for that. 7 minutes, that's already okay. So I hope you would write down your questions during our messenger discussion. Okay, I'll just post it in YouTube. Okay, God bless. So my flight's still on 4, so I have a lot of time. Maybe I can solve more. Okay, thank you for listening, guys.